So welcome to the video. We're back in the car, we're back out fishing. Just paid for the parking. Parking is till 6 and it's about 4:15, so I've just paid for 2 hours of parking. Back down at the beach huts where I had the ray last week, and looking forward to it. I'm not going to mess about because the tide is up at about 6:15 and it's about 4:15 now. So by the time I get down there, get the house set up, get the rods set up, you get the idea. I'm up against it time wise. Probably going to be fishing the tide down for a few hours just to get a bit of a lengthy session in. A little bit of wind coming in from right to left. Feels like a chilly wind, but by the time I get all my stuff on, I'll be alright, be nice and warm. So yeah, see you down on the beach. So we're here and we're down on the beach. The general rule of thumb is if you can't see the Isle of Wight, it's peeing down. So I think it's time to batten down the hatches for a second. So the rain didn't actually come to too much. I've got the first rig baited up, ready to go out into the sea. And what we've got is I've got a Pompey loop rig, and on the bottom hook I've got a pennel with a 3/0 and a 2/0 circle, and that's got bluey and squid on. And the top hook is a 1/0 with a single sand eel on it. So it's a Pompey loop rig, but for big fish. Get this out into the sea. So first rod's out there. There's a bit of a chop on today. You can probably hear it behind me, but there's definitely a bit of a sea happening, which is good. Let's have it churned up, shall we? Now, first one's out there, sitting lovely with lovely baits on, at a lovely time of the tide, which is lovely. And this one is just about to go out. And this one's a little bit different. This one is fishing with a dongle rig, but on a bagnall bar. Dongle rig. On a bagnall bar. How cool is that? Dongle rig on a bagnall bar. That's probably cool. Got to bait it up. But yeah, that's the concept of it. So then that's fishing down below the lid. Nice short rig for casting distance. And nice little dongle. Yeah, works for me. Works for me. I'm going to put what am I going to put on there? Sand eel. Can't help to reiterate. Keep your sand eels and your blueies in the food flasks. Keep them frozen and you won't have any problems with them. Right, so we need to cut that to the length of that. I'm taking a bit of that off. I'm taking a bit of that off at all. Smallish bait. That's what we want. A little bit of squid to go down the side of it. And that will be gorgeous. I'm going to bind those two together. You've seen this 100 times. I'm going to bind my squid to my sand eel section. Smallish bait. The rays haven't got massive mouths. I think you can use too big a bait. You can just be out there and it doesn't do you any favours having it too big. Now, I've got a little shepherd's crook, which is perfect for this. And what we're going to do, we're going to put the loop in there and hold that down and push that through the bait. So that's going to go through the squid and line that up. So if it's going through the bait. Look like a shepherd's crook. So holding that tight, I'm going to whip this on now. Right, undo that, slide that out, and that's it. Beautiful little dongle. Just on a Bagno bar. Very nice. Got the loop in the imp. Cascade swivel. Into that swivel under tension with the spring. And there we have it. Bagno bar dongle. Got to be happy with that. So what do you think of a new pink line? Sexy, isn't it? So we're fishing, we've got 2 rods out and we're fishing. And it looks really good. It's a little bit of a chop, it's not a calm night by any stretch. It's overcast. It's got a bit of a blow coming in from right to left, but I've got the shelter up so I'm fine. I've got the baits out there, I've got them out there a good distance as well. First one, not quite so much. Went left a little bit, but the right hand rod went out there well. With the dongle on the Bagno bar. That Bagno bar just gives you that bit of extra distance because it's such a short, streamlined rig. I can feel a little bit of rain swirling around, but it's lovely. We're back out. Got plenty of new rigs that I've been playing around with to try out. Just hope there's a few fish here, not just dogfish, but we've catch a few dogfish. Not the end of the world, as long as they're not deep hooked. That's what I don't like. I'm going to fish to the clock. Now the rods are out. I'm going to give them 25 minutes. They've been out there for 5 minutes. So I'm going to give them a 25-minute timer. 25-minute timer and start. Right, so that's 25 minutes on the clock. And then I'm going to wind these in and assess the situation. Unless we get a massive old pull round and a big old shark or something. You never know. So there we go. First fish of the night, first chuck, £13 6 ounce, 100 at rate. That is incredible. How cool is that? What a fish! Yes! What a fish that is to start the night with. Absolutely incredible. Wow. Yes, that is cool. Unbelievable. £13, 6 ounce angular. It's really thick and chunky. So that Pompey loop's gone back out, and this is the dongle, just wound that in. The one with sand eel and squid on, and it hadn't been touched. So I've put bluey and squid on now, which is what just caught that undulate ray, and that's on the dongle on the Bagnall bar. We're going to get that one out now, and then we'll have a chat. Knackered already, and I'm only about an hour in. That was hectic. He nicked me on the finger with one of his thorns, I think, and it's like pike's teeth, I think, because it was 10 minutes ago and it ain't stopped bleeding yet. It has just about stemmed, but that was gushing, and it's only a dig from one of the thorns just went in. Anticoagulant goes in, and it just keeps bleeding. Same as pike's teeth. Anyway, what a start. First chuck on that Pompey loop with the pennel at the bottom and a single 1-0 at the top with a sand eel on. I had bluey and squid wrap on the pennel at the bottom, and the rod sort of went over a couple of times, went over a couple more times, then just went back completely straight. And I saw the line start to slacken, and that was quite a bit of dead weight all the way in, to be fair, probably about 15 yards out. I just thought maybe it's a clump of weed, and then it pulled and then it kited off to the right. Thought when I saw it in the surf, I was waiting for a wave to come and beach it, and every time it beached it just went back out again. I had a little bit of trouble with it in the surf, and at first, when I first saw it, I thought it was a thornback, but then when it did eventually beach itself, there's no mistaking that. Had to get the scales out for that bad boy. £13, 6 ounces. What a fish for the first chuck. Unbelievable. Since then I've wound in the dongle, which is on a Bagnall bar, which had sand eel and squid on, and that was untouched. So now I've rebaited both rods with bluey and squid on each one, and they're back out. And it's not got dark yet. Lovely to catch a fish during daylight. It's usually a bit pants down here during the day and just sort of comes to life and switches on after dark, but obviously not today. The fish gods were shining upon me. Apart from this damage right in my finger, but it has stopped bleeding now, so I'm going to stop whining about it. Watch these rods, and who knows what the night might bring. Do you know what? If the night brings nothing else, I'm not bothered. And it was never ever going to be a late one, because I tide being about 6:15. I never like fishing the ebb too much. I'm happy to give the ebb some crows. I bet they're going to hit my line. No. Sometimes you get a big old bang and you look up and it's a seagull or a crow that's just hit your line. Yeah, I was only ever going to fish till about maybe 8 o'clock, maybe just after 8 o'clock anyway. Fish the ebb for about 2 hours and then call it a day. but the session's been made. I've had such a fantastic fish. I'm so made up and I'm so hot. I've got my thermals on because I thought if it comes out clear after dark, it could drop chilly, so I don't want to be down here cold. So I've got my thermals and everything on because I've been running backwards and forwards. I'm a bit sweaty, but happy. So yeah, I'm going to turn you off now. I'm going to sit and watch these rod tips. Got a timer on for 20 minutes, and then I'm going to wind them in and freshen them up and see what happens. But yeah, brilliant start. So as you can probably tell, it's pretty much dark now. I forgot to tell you earlier, when I got that undulate up on the beach and turned it over to get the hook out, it was in the slightest little piece of skin on its mouth and the hook just popped out so easy. I was so lucky, especially as we were going backwards and forwards a little bit in the surf, trying to get him beached with the waves. Yeah, lucky. But yeah, rods have been out there for 20 minutes now, so I'm just going to bait up a couple of new rigs and then wind these in, freshen them up. As it's getting dark, the dogfish are going to turn up. We know that, don't we? But yeah, session's been made, so if we get a couple of dogfish, it's not the end of the world. And catching fish is catching fish. I've just produced a whiting. That wasn't supposed to happen. So the rods are back out. It's pitch black now. A little bit of a breeze, but it's not too windy, it's not cold. I'm actually quite warm with all the running up and down the beach. My wound has stopped bleeding now, so I can stop acting like a girl. And the tide's retreating, which is sad. I do like a rising tide. I know you catch fish on the M. I know it happens, but for me it's just a confidence thing. I like fishing the tide up, maybe an hour over the other side and then knocking it on the head. It's like last night. Last night Matt and Dan were going fishing over Hayden Island and I was going to join them. They weren't getting there till about 7 o'clock, and I finished work at 4, I had a bit of tea and I was kind of itching to get out, so I got in the car and I went over, and I got over there for about 5 o'clock. And I got to the mark, and I got out of the car and stood on the beach and just had a look around, and I just didn't fancy it. I don't know whether it was the fact that it was high tide and I was going to be fishing the complete ebb all the way down, or whether it was just because it was Hayden Island and it's not Eastney. You know, I just feel like I feel at home here. It's more local to me anyway, and there's fish here, obviously. I don't see much point in. I'm not a globetrotter. I don't like to go to loads of different spots. I only get short windows of opportunity, and when I do, I like to maximise it by staying local if possible, and fishing where I'm comfortable, and I'm comfortable fishing along here. So a bit of a weird one. So I was back home by sort of 6 o'clock last night. I didn't even get the tackle out of the car. Strange. But there you go. Yeah, it's I'm probably going to give this an hour. The tide's on its way down now. The rods are pretty still. I've wound in 2 lots and I've had 1 whiting. Managed to impale itself on a dongle, but apart from that, not even dogfish. Dogfish aren't even active at the moment. So I'm going to leave these out here, wind them in and have another 2 ready to go out, and then we'll assess it, because that might well be it. I've got the option to go tomorrow night as well down here, and Wednesday. And each day the tide's going to be a bit later, so I'm going to be able to fish a little bit more of the flood each day. So yeah, that's where we are. I'm really happy with the rigs. I've been messing around with some rigs. I've been having a chat with Tom down at Christchurch Angling, just running a few ideas, bouncing a few ideas around, and just having a completely different take on rigs that I thought had a single purpose, but actually have multiple purposes if you think about it and tweak a few things. So that's been fun. I've been making a few rigs up today, and I've tried them out tonight, and the first one that I put out, I caught that ray on, so good baptism of fire. So 2 fresh baits have just gone out. They come back a little bit nibbled, but no fish. More and more of the shore's being exposed now. And it's just rained. I don't do rain. I haven't even got waterproofs, and I had to hide, I had to hunker down while this shower came over and got everything wet. Horrible. So I think I'm resigned to calling it a day if these two come back in with no fish. Save myself for tomorrow. I can get down here at the same sort of time tomorrow, but it'll give me an extra hour of the flood. So that'll be good. Get down here, have the rigs ready, get them out in the sea nice and quickly, and hope for a repeat performance of today. And just checking as well, that has equalled my PB undulate, 13.6. What's the chances? So we're back in the car. A little bit of a shower we had down there, so I quickly got everything packed away, got the last rods wound in, got the trolley loaded up and got back to the car. It's all loaded up now. It's not late, it's only about 8:30. So we can get back home and have a bit of toast and a cup of tea, and maybe have a little look at editing up this video. Not a great session, to be fair. It was from that fish that I fluked right at the very start, but apart from that, one waiting. But I stand by it when I say this doesn't fish well on the ebb. I've never done very well on the ebb down here. So I thought, get home, sort myself out, sort the gear out, get the bait back in the freezer, and then freshen everything up ready for the same thing tomorrow, and I'll have an extra hour of the flood. So I'm quite looking forward to seeing what that holds. But until then, tight lines, thanks for watching. What a result, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.